I collect a lot of Pokemon cards, but one thing I've actually never been into is buying or selling cards, especially at a sort of professional level, going to conventions and stuff like that. But lately I've realized I have way too many Pokemon cards. I spent hours sorting through some of them. So the other day I thought, you know what, I'm gonna look into the price of these cards and actually start selling some of these cards, maybe even listing some up on the Facebook Marketplace, maybe on eBay, and I would love to try to get to some of the conventions. But a really big thing that I've realized I'm losing a lot of money on with the cards is the fact that none of them are graded. They're all completely raw cards. Now, I never thought this would be a massive problem. I have a lot of cards that are actually worth, $50, $80, $90 completely raw, which is a lot of money. When I'm ripping a pack for $8 from Kmart, that's an awesome return on my investment. And the biggest thing is, it's not really an investment to me. It's all fun. I've been doing it since I was a child and I love doing it. Don't call it an addiction. It's not an addiction. Anyways, so I've been doing a little bit of research with grading and stuff like that, and a lot of the cards actually aren't worth your time grading at all. To get them graded by PSA, which is the main one that holds the value as pretty much everywhere, Australia, America, overseas, etc., that generally can cost, about $30 to $40 per card to get it sent over and graded. So if you have a card that's going to be worth $5 completely raw, but then $30 as a PSA 10, which is pretty hard to get. You're not guaranteed to get a PSA 10, especially with a lot of my cards. They've been sitting around in random boxes. I've been trying to play with them. Even the ones I've had as a kid, they've probably been wrapped up in rubber bands and thrown in the back of my cupboard somewhere. So if a card is only going to be worth, $30 more, realistically, you're losing money on that card anyways, just to get it in a nice acrylic case, which is great if you're just collecting the card. It's going to protect it. It makes it look nice, everything like that. But if you are looking to sell the card, you're almost spending $30 and wasting a couple months of your time pretty much to get nothing out of it. So what I'm going to do is I've got a handful of cards here that I am completely okay to part with. I was actually thinking of trying to sell them anyways, just to get them out of my collection and into someone else's. I'm going to look through all of these cards. I'm going to see what the raw price is on them, and then I'm going to see what the PSA 10 price is on them, and if it's actually worth grading the cards. I'm going to sort through just a couple of them. This is going to be my first ever time grading cards, so this is almost just like a little bit of a taste test for this. So I'm going to get through those ones. I'm going to see what's actually worth grading, and I'll show you the results at the end, and then, well, going to have to send them off. Alright, so these are the stack of cards I'm going to look through. I have a couple really good ones. Pretty much all of them are going to be the illustration rares, the secret illustration rares, etc, etc. So with the cards that I've selected, what I'm going to be doing to determine the price is I do have a little spreadsheet up here on my computer. I've got the website price charting on the left side here. I'm going to pretty much get the raw price on my spreadsheet, include the PSA 10 price there. Going to look at the difference and see if it's actually worth it to send off to PSA, and we'll see how we go. So we do have a couple fresh cards here. This one's the Mega Lucario EX out of the Phantasmal Flames. That's not going to register up on the camera, but it's alright. So these prices might be a little volatile. For example, on this one here, the ungraded card at the moment is going for $28, but the PSA 10 card is going for $317. The only thing is they haven't been out that long, so there probably isn't a lot of sales in the PSA 10 to actually reference off realistically, I guess you could say. Even here, it does state that the PSA 10 price has gone down $107 in the last week. So it fluctuates a lot. Usually after a new set comes out, a couple weeks, it'll start to kind of correct itself, and then you'll see what the long-term value is. But either way, I'm still going to use the prices as is today and see where we go. Back to it. Alright guys, so I've got all the values for all the cards in total. I did end up looking through about 42 different cards just to give a bit of a rundown to start with. And out of those, I'd probably say about 10 to 20 would actually benefit from getting graded. Now, I did get the top 10 cards right here in front of me that will benefit from being graded. Now, just for your information, some of these numbers here are actually pretty insane. So out of all of these cards here that I looked through the raw and the PSA 10 prices from, if we go through the complete raw number, I'd be selling this total stack for $417.70. Still not too bad when I'm just playing with these for fun, realistically. But if, and very much so if, because it's pretty unlikely that I'm going to send almost 40 cards away and get a PSA 10 for every single one, but if every single one of these cards went away, got graded, and got a PSA 10, my total would be adding up to $4,612 just for these cards. Now, there is some costs when it does come to grading. Realistically, you're looking at about $38, let's say in this case, to send off every card, and that's per card. So if I was to send off 43 different cards and it was going to cost me $38 each, and this is without any extra costs like an upcharge or extra shipping costs, etc., etc., it's going to cost me about $1,634 just to get these cards graded, and hoping that I get a PSA 10. They could send these back at PSA 7, 8, 9, a 1, and I'm pretty much just losing the cost that I've actually sent to PSA to get these cards graded, hopefully getting that PSA 10. So it can be pretty risky. But if we did send all of those cards away, my $417 raw cards then get turned into about $3,000 total. So it's a pretty good upside realistically if you do get very, very lucky and all of these do come back PSA 10. So with some of the cards that I do want to send away, I will be looking through them to actually see if they are a little bit worthy. Some of them might have some scratches, they might have really bad centering, and overall they might just be played and thrown across my room like an idiot half the time. So I'm not going to send those ones away because they're probably going to come back at PSA 1. I'm going to be very sad and I've just wasted X amount of dollars doing pretty much nothing. But just to give you an idea of what kind of difference grading can make to a card. Ooh. I had to get up real quick. Delivery day. Anyways, back to what we're talking about. So I did select probably my top 10 cards here that actually have a really, really big difference in the price. Number one is this Fido card. I'm trying to get it focused there, probably can't. You'll see it on screen anyways. It's actually a really, really cute card. It's kind of a little bit creepy. It's like the Fido is looking at itself. Anyways, I do like that card a lot. Completely raw. It's selling for about $21. However, if I do send this for grading, a PSA 10 would come back at $342. That's a difference of $320 right there. And when you're thinking about it's going to cost $38, $40 to grade this, if it does come back PSA 10, I've just made $200+ just by setting this card away for a couple months. And this card, as I said, was just sitting in a tin anyways. So it is fairly worth it. There is a couple extra cards, such as a Kingdra promo card. Now, this one's a little bit different. This Kingdra EX promo card is about $92 ungraded. But if you do grade it, it comes back at about $406 for a PSA 10, which that's a difference of $313. So realistically, you see where I'm coming from here. If you do grade your cards and they do come back PSA 10, you're lucky enough, you can make yourself a really, really good amount of money purely just on the cards that are sitting around pretty much doing nothing. As I said, I hardly even look at these cards myself. So let me know in the comments. I'm probably going to end up sending these away for a PSA grading. That'll take about 3 to 4 months realistically. Down in Australia here, it's a bit harder to get them sent all the way over to America to grade, but hopefully I have some good luck with it. Now, thank you very much for that. I know it's been a long time between videos. I've been very, very busy. I'm going to try to get a couple out here and there if so. But either way, thank you for watching this one. Let me know if I should get these cards graded, and let me know your experiences on grading, because there has been a couple of horror stories here and there, but there's probably way, way more success stories. Thank you very much.